Jack, we're ready to go when you are.
Three, two, one.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rye Town Council meeting of February 20th, 2025. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, bless this assemblage. Grant us the wisdom to make every decision fair-minded and the best interest for all its residents. Amen.
Amen. Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Pamela Jaffe. Here. Councilperson Jill Axelrod. Here. Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
Councilperson Randy Sellier.
Present.
And Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Always here. Motion, unless there are additions or corrections, a motion to approve the minute meetings for January 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comments on non-agenda items? Anybody on Facebook?
We have people watching, but no comments.
Okay. Our first group of resolutions is establishing homestead-based proportions for the various taxing jurisdictions in the town of Rye. Those are the town itself, the school districts, and the villages. Charlie, would you please explain what is a homestead-based proportion and why are we doing this?
Good evening. Okay, so I'll give you a little history on the homestead-based proportions. Back in 2004, 2005, when we did the first revaluation, all the villages of Rybrook, Portchester, the school districts of Rhinebeck, Portchester, and Blindbrook, and the town adopted base proportions. This breaks the community up between the residential parcels and the commercial parcels, which are the homestead and the non-homestead. Every year, we look at the changes in the assessment roll to then adjust the base proportions that were established back then. Historically, the residential rate on the homestead properties, which are the residential, will always be lower than the non-homestead, which are the commercial. So by us reviewing it every year, we're able to then adjust the tax rates every year to follow the state law, which we set up back in 0405. So it's something we have to do every year annually, and the state approves it, and this is just for the town to approve what the state has calculated and my office has calculated as the new base proportions for this year.
And you have to be a community at full assessment.
Yes, correct. That's why we did it back when the full revaluation occurred.
Okay. And as we see, before we get to the individual resolutions, we see that many of the residential proportions have gone up, correct?
Yes, correct. The residential properties the last few years have been going up faster than the commercial properties due to interest rates on commercial properties are much higher than they were a few years ago. So there's a lot of factors involved in that. But yes, residential property values are increasing faster than our commercial values.
And what happens, what result is that to the individual homeowner?
The proportion that increases on the residential will then give a bigger portion of the tax pie to the residential portion, which will see an increase in the tax rates. But some of the increases will be very minor. The increases some of them are 1%, 2%. So it's not, but that's engulfed in the whole entire homestead category. So it doesn't. I don't have the dollar amounts because we don't know what the budgets are yet, but there will be a shift onto the residential properties.
Okay, and then the big question is, okay, so why don't we eliminate the homestead-based proportions and not have a homestead rate?
If we took the rates and took due to the commercial properties paying a higher tax rate than the residential properties, if we reblend the two categories back together again, show a huge increase onto the residential properties. We would have no proportions, and the total tax rate for the residential properties would increase by, we'd be talking 8-10%. It'd be a large increase onto the residential properties.
So we're beneficial for the homeowner to maintain the homestead.
Yes, and I think that's the reason why the state pushes it for when we do a revaluation, because it also helps out the homeowners, because the homeowners see the biggest shock when there's a revaluation. And due to the non-homestead have to pay a higher tax rate, it's very beneficial for the homeowners.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted that so that the people watching on TV would understand what this is all about and how it is beneficial for the homeowner to do this. Because otherwise, when they see that the rates, for example, in Blindbrook are over 80% and Rhinebeck over 90%, they say, well, why are we doing this? And that's the answer. All right? So the way we're going to do this, unless somebody has an objection, we'll go by them. I don't believe we should do it in one, but we're going to do it individually and have a vote individually on each one. Shouldn't take too long. So, resolution to establish a homestead base proportion for the town of Rye itself. Motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay. You've established the parameters, so you're going to each make a motion and a second for each one, right?
Got it.
Okay. If there are no questions, may I have a vote on the Town of Rye homestead-based proportion?
Aye.
Call the roll.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm aye.
I mean,
Councilperson
I don't want to say anything, but I can't help myself. Honestly, if you're going to do it, what's the point if you don't, there's no information being conveyed? You would
I'm
want
going- yeah, well,
to
it's on here.
know that it's 90% versus
I'm going to,
10%.
you know, so.
Otherwise, the
Randy-
whole
Randy,
thing
you're
is
right.
meaningless and a waste of time. Not that anyone really is going to go down to the 1/5 decimal point, but
Your point is well taken. The
there's a
homestead-based
first time for everything.
The homestead-based proportion for the town of Rye is approximately 69 to 31%. Homestead is 69, and non-homestead, which is commercial, is approximately 31. Does that help?
It helps if someone wants to understand what we're voting on, it does.
I agree with you, and I should have done that
Thanks,
because
Randy.
it's not in the heading of the resolution, it's in the resolution itself. So I'll go through each one. So call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Well, now that it's been fully explained, I'm comfortable voting yes. Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Motion to establish the homestead-based proportion for the village of Portchester. And that percentage is 55% homestead and approximately 45 non-homestead. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Motion to establish the homestead-based proportion for the village of Rybrook, which is almost 80% homestead and 20% non-homestead. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Motion to establish the homestead-based proportion for the Portchester School District. And that proportion is approximately 55% homestead and 45% non-homestead. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Jaffe? Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. A motion to establish the homestead-based proportion for the Blindbrook School District. And that proportion is approximately 88% homestead and 12% non-homestead. Motion and a second, please.
Motion?
Second.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. And now, the last one, authorizing the homestead-based proportion for the Rye Neck School District, which is approximately almost 91% homestead and 9.5% non-homestead. Does that add up? Excuse me.
Well, because you rounded one up, so you need to
Yeah.
round the other one down.
Yes, 91, I'm looking at yes, 91 and 9. That does add up. Thank you. Motion in a second,
So
please.
moved.
Second.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. And that finishes the homestead-based proportions. And it's important that we get these done now because the villages and school districts will be preparing their budgets. And if we waited till the next meeting, it might cause some havoc. And we can't do this on our own. This is done by the state, correct, Charlie?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Next item, resolution to authorize the town comptroller to make budget modifications and transfers for the year 2024. David?
Good evening. This is standard accounting practices for municipalities to do budget modifications to line items of the budget. The overall appropriations of the budget is not changing. We're not increasing or decreasing it. We're doing line items changes within the budget, which is the attachment that you have in front of you. We've identified areas that need to be increased, and we've actually made some increase to the 2025 budget for those line items. So we're adjusting those line items, and then we're actually decreasing other line items to make up for those increases. Overall, we will be under, the expenditures will be under budget, but this is to align the budget for the specific line items. The auditors are coming in next week to start the field work, so this is in conjunction with that.
All right, and just for the edification of the people watching on TV or online, the actual budget modifications are an attachment to the resolution, and they're available either on the website or certainly on the agenda of this meeting. It's all set forth. Any comment from council on this?
Anyone from Doge reviewed this yet?
Not yet, but they haven't come in yet to look at it.
We're waiting.
Hopefully they never will.
They only accept decreases in the budget line items. They don't accept any increases.
Okay, motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
I'll give it to Connie.
Oh, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer? And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. And by the by, that completes our resolutions. Reports. Assessors report. Do you have anything else to add, Charles?
Nothing at this moment.
Okay. Crawford Park, and we'll put that together with our Director of Parks and Facilities, Vic.
Good evening, Vic Federico, Director of Grounds and Facilities. We have a lot going on. especially coming up. We've added a couple of new things for this year, including our, trying to think of the name, what's the name of the fair? Echo Fest, in which Pam is working very hard on, along with a couple of us.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. We're also doing a town car show.
Wait, back up.
Okay.
One of you, please not, if you thought I was bad not explaining the homestead base proportions, okay? What is Echo Fest? I know what it is, but you tell us what it is.
Okay.
Pam?
Okay, so twice a year, we hold these days to clean up, to beautify, to plant. And basically, what we do there is support the other townships, and people come out and they get dirty and they drag trash or they plant plants. But we're noticing across the townships that there is an attrition rate to these beautification and sustainability committees. So we figured using the
By townships, you mean the villages.
the villages of the
Right.
township, and the townships committee as well. But figured we would use the beauty of Crawford Park, which is of course AGSA's first Westchester green park, and take a day in June and help uplift our local organizations, help them promote the work they're doing, help them gain membership, also showcasing local green vendors. And the end result really we want to do is, in the climate that we're in, showing that going green isn't scary. Going green isn't tremendously expensive. Going green isn't a huge haul. You can make modifications in real life, and you can do things in your community to help sustain the world we live in. So this is going to be a very small year. I don't think we're going to go crazy. We're looking for sponsors. Thank you, Vic. But it will be a festival in Crawford Park that is dedicated to the work that we're doing across the entire town and villages.
So what do you expect to show in the park? What kinds of things would you expect to
show within the park?
In other words, what kind of booths or exhibits?
We're currently working on that. I know Vic, Brian Mortimer is helping us as well. So it could be something as fun as showcasing a Westchester Bee green bus. It could be showcasing the green vehicles that we use. It could be showcasing solar panels. It could be the high school bands playing instruments on recycled instruments. It could be using recycled items to create art through, the Portchester Arts Council. So we're reaching out right now to get various groups to join us in this festival, just to show ways that you can do this in real life, in your home.
Okay, thank you. And
Do
now,
you anticipate having people in the business, landscapers and that
Yes.
sort of thing?
We have Bartlett Tree, whose arborist will come here and show you how to bear roots, how to plant bare root trees, along with some other proper pruning techniques. Working on a few others right now, including, we're gonna bring John Zicka in, landscaping, and let him, show you the practices that are done. So, yes, we're going into the professional fields.
We also have the cooking school here and our raised bed planting gardens for the kids. So having tours of those gardens in the back of the native plant fields, I guess you would call it,
Yes,
Culinary teaching garden.
the culinary teaching gardens.
yes, and it would be perfect because the plants will be in.
There you go. And little things like even going back
Or-
5 or 6 years and having the native birds back on
We
display.
could do that also.
Mhm.
Also, I could hold off on planting the plants and have the children come that day.
There you go. So basically, what we do in the cleanup days is to support the local municipalities, and here we're going to try to uplift local municipalities and businesses and school endeavors to showcase them. And then I'm
Great.
sure our wonderful Ruby will help us with the promotional efforts.
excellent, thank you. And now the car show.
The car show, I'll let Tom go into that because pretty much I'm running what's going on the ground as far as people visiting the car show, but Tom and a few others are running the car
We're
show.
actually going opposite of green. We're having fossil fuel machines running. Totally opposite.
Something for everyone.
Polar opposites, Tom, always.
Total
We're
opposite.
good friends regardless.
Oh, we're looking to have some nice
Yeah,
hot
I'm
rods
gonna
in.
mention
Gas guzzlers.
Some gas guzzlers, you know, we've got to pay that fuel tax, you know, so we bought the cars.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're gonna, you know, wanna have some cars, all different types, sports cars, hot rods, resto mods. So we're in the beginning stages, and you know, have some trophies, and like we're gonna have some food trucks and stuff also. So it's gonna be nice day. Hopefully it doesn't rain. That's the main thing. So. Yeah, we're gonna have, I believe we have a rain date set, yes. So we will have a rain date. When we get closer to it, we'll mention the date and the rain date. But we don't wanna have, we really don't wanna do a rain date, you know? But, it's a lot of fun, you know, it's a nice family event, just like with the green stuff, anyway.
They're both fun.
No, they're both fun, yes, they are both fun.
Do you expect this to be an income-producing event?
Hopefully, maybe, you know, with me, the way I feel about parks, if we break even, I'm happy. That's the way I look at it.
We don't want it to make an income-losing event.
No, we don't want it to be a losing event, but I'd like to at least break even, because I'm a firm believer that the parks are for the people, and they're not money-making machines, because you gotta worry about the weather, and there's too many factors.
I
So,
understand.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, we've been very busy with inquiries, tours. That'll all be in the next meeting. You'll get all the numbers up to date in March. We had a cancellation, a postponement of Music at the Mansion. The Philharmonic was set for that Sunday, and the snowstorm kept us out, so it's rescheduled for March 2nd, Sunday, March 2nd, along with two other Philharmonic dates. And we have Mike T playing 3 dates and Paul Jensen playing. So we have 7 winter concerts. We also have our celebrity, do I just scroll it up?
Just March 2nd is a week from Sunday, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's coming up.
Coming up.
And just for anybody who's interested in classical music, the Philharmonic puts on a really, really nice show. It's not the full Philharmonic, of
No,
course.
this first one's violas.
Yeah. We had them last year, if I recall.
I think so,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and then we have our chef, Kara Tannenbaum, doing a free cooking class on Thursday, March 13th. And that's about it for the park right now. Although our programs are going strong, and we've added a yoga class. So
Oh,
to go
great.
along with our culinary, our dance, and our chess, we now have yoga.
And who does that?
I don't know the person. They scheduled it the other day, so right now I'm not sure who it is. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Vic.
Thanks, Vic.
Financial. David.
January is a quiet month. You have the report for January through January 31st for the tax receivables, because the school taxes are due in January, so there's not a lot of back payments made in January with the school tax bills being due. But at the, as of January 31st, we got about a little over $1.3 million outstanding, which is about 0.56% of the levies, which is a little over 240 million. So it's very strong receivable balance that we have, and we've kept it low. So we're able to take the additional funds that we have and invest them and earn interest.
Sure.
No change there.
Thank you. Let me just ask a question of Jeff. We have the in rem receivables. We have 7 properties in rem. Petitions are filed. Are these people, have any of them paid?
We can't hear you unless you go up.
I think he said no.
I heard the no.
What was the only word that Marcel Marceau ever said in a movie? No. Nobody's paid. But we have a court date actually next week, preliminary court date for all the property owners. We'll be showing up there, and we'll see who shows up from the service of process that I effectuated late last month and early this month. We are still in the process of effectuating service per the statute. We have to publish 3 times in the Journal News, as well as another publication. So the case is ongoing.
All right. I like to bring that up because having 7 properties in REM is not a great number of properties considering we have 11,000 parcels in the town. And the total due is, I believe, under $550,000. So the numbers are not great, but it's an unfair burden on the people who pay taxes that we have to go through the legal expense to collect and possibly ultimately sell these properties. So, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Anything else to add on legal?
No, we actually have our tax cert stakeholders meeting coming up. Is that
12th, I believe.
the 12th
March
of March?
12th
Yeah,
in the afternoon.
so the community should know, and we inform the community on an ongoing basis about our quarterly, and now it's 3 times a year, meetings of all the stakeholders, the school districts, the villages, and the town. We run this meeting to keep our constituents and stakeholders informed as to the progress of the tax certiorari lawsuits that have been filed against the town. And this is important for the budgeting reasons, for the villages and the school districts, so that they know roughly what to expect in terms of refunds or cases that would be dismissed, that they're no longer budgeting, that they should no longer budget for. And we try to stay closely in touch with the school districts and the villages,
Yeah.
so that there are no surprises.
And the residents should know that we actively try to close these cases either by settlement or having the petitioner withdraw because they have no real proof that their claim would be sustained.
Right, these are lawsuits, there are dozens of them filed against the town in various different stages. And the town, through council, on an ongoing basis, tries to negotiate these to settlement or, if need be, prepare for trial. Thank you.
Thank you. Carla, receiver of taxes, do you have anything?
Sure.
Your written report is submitted.
Yes, I just have a couple of notes.
Excuse me, one thing, is this a new format in color and everything? Because I remember it used to be all black and white, right?
Antonio's been doing it, so he
Yeah.
might have changed it.
Yeah, this is very nice, thank
Right.
you.
I'll let him know. Thanks. Just a couple notes. The Village of Ryan Brook's second installment is gonna be due by the end of this month.
Use the microphone.
Just want the residents to know and make sure to come and pay, otherwise there will be a 2% penalty. We're also in the process of mailing out all of the delinquent notices for any unpaid school taxes that are due upon receipt of their letters. That's it. Getting ready for the next round of taxes.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Sure.
And I just want to remind people that, I meant to say this while you were up there, that there are many ways of paying your taxes. Obviously, if you have a mortgage, your bank is going to pay it. But you can pay it by check. And I believe we're starting to move away from the lockbox. We haven't finalized that yet, correct?
No, we are going to move away from the lockbox.
So that all the future payments, starting when, with the county town in April? Will be sent directly to the office for processing. And you can also pay by credit card, but that carries like about 2.38% on your tax bill. And the easiest way is to pay with direct payment, ACH, where it gets automatically, you can send it right online through your bank account. And that charge, no matter how much you pay, whether you pay $50 or $10,000, is $1.50. And that's the easiest and the most secure and the best way to pay your taxes. So I would encourage you, and Carla would encourage you, and the entire receiver staff would encourage you to pay your taxes that way. It's the easiest and the best. And I remember, once upon a time, Mr. Busen, who's in the audience, made a big deal of, why can't we have other ways of paying taxes? And we have. Thank you, Rick.
Especially during COVID.
Yeah. So, all right, thank you, Carla. Town clerk,
My report is submitted.
I know that. I just wanted you to say it.
Thank you.
And anybody who wants to go online, you can see all of these reports, what we collect in marriage license fees, and what we collect in dog licensing fees, and all of that stuff. So,
There are 20 dog licenses. Tommy, are they yours?
No, mine would be half.
he only had, that's right, he only has 10 dogs
Only
right now.
10. Well, I have 2, she has 8.
Are they licensed?
You have
Yes,
to ask
they are.
her, she's the boss. I imagine they are.
She meaning his wife, of course.
Hope's like, yes, they are.
All right, any comments from the council? No? Nobody?
No,
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We have just had our President's holiday. What's our next holiday coming up? We don't have one for a while now. I don't
until
know.
April, I think, right?
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
He knows you celebrate.
Ask the Irish guy, he'll tell you. Thank you, David. All right. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next meeting is March 20th.